Asobi!
Live.
Laugh.
Play.
Oh, you want me to take one?
Go for it, dude.
What isn't going on? Today, I heard that Radio Shack filed a Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Radio Shack.
That's where we got all of our equipment.
Well, like, if I want to go get an auxiliary cable or a headphone splitter, the first thing that comes to mind is Radio Shack. And
Disneyland.
Yeah. No. That business has been around since as long as I can remember, and it's crazy to see it going out. I remember commercials, and like I used to live in Oklahoma. There was this building that used to be a Circuit City, like the big old red AC plug in the ground.
Yeah, I remember that. Oh, it was a plug. Because the commercial.
Yeah, and it's still there. It's just a different business now.
Yeah, it's like, oh, it's so funny. It's like a laundromat, and it's like laundry.
Yeah.
That's right.
I was just talking to my friend about that at work.
Yeah, same with the Good Guys. Do you remember Good Guys? I don't know if
Good
you guys
Guys tires?
Good Guys.
That's still a thing.
No, the Good Guys, they've got to be good. I'm the oldest of the group, so I might have dated myself. But there was a place just like Circuit City that was called the Good Guys, and they also went out of business.
Now they're like
Staples.
Best Buy and fries away.
Staples is office supplies, noob. Okay, to clarify, the Big Thickness said not yet in response to the fact that we are not street performers. We'll see what happens.
Anyway,
or not a musical act yet, I should say. Not yet, but we do plan. We are all musically inclined in some way or another, for the most part. So, yeah, so that's crazy. Radio Shack. I hope nobody in my professional life hears this story, but because Radio Shack will never, ever, not ever be on my resume, because I used to work at a Radio Shack, and I'll tell you, no offense to Radio Shack, because it's all personal. It's all personal, man. But I would I almost cried on mornings I had to roll out of bed and go to that job. I just did not like it at all. And like, I remember, cell phones were like just like a big deal back then. Like smartphones hadn't been out yet. Smartphones hadn't come out yet. But cell phones, yeah, were still a big deal. I mean, this wasn't like what? This was maybe a decade or so ago. The smartphones weren't around yet, but cell phones were huge, and they brought a lot of revenue to any business that any vendor like that. So they wanted us to offer a cell phone to anyone. It didn't matter what they came in for. They can come in for one of those audio cassette tapes that you hook up to your CD player to play CDs in your car, in your old ass car.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they could be buying one of those, and you'd be like, hey, so cell phones, because we sold phones from Sprint and Verizon and AT&T, I think. So like we had to know all their plans and all this stuff, and it was just a lot of work. And this old man comes in for hearing aid batteries. He comes in, and I sell him his hearing aid batteries, and he goes about his life. Probably goes back home to Martha with some flowers. And the boss comes out of the office, and he's like, "Hey, I was listening to you, on the security cameras, and you didn't offer a cell phone to that old man." And I'm like, "He came in for hearing aid batteries," and he's like, but you have to offer him a cell phone." And I'm just like, he can't even hear. Like he's not even gonna be able to hear anything. And I knew like right there, I was like, I'm done with this job. There was a point where they were gonna transfer me to another location, and I took that opportunity to leave that store and just never happened to arrive at the other one. And that was that, man. I was out of there. It was
Deuces.
bad. Yeah, I was like, peace out, Low Dog Master Flex G. Let's see what we got in the comments here. Any other things about Radio Shack? That is crazy that they're going to.
I just heard that today. I know that I was talking about something else, but yeah, it's just it's shocking to me.
Okay, what we got here? Blair Bear says, that's terrible to hear. I will say, however, the customer service the past few years has been terrible. You really have to know exactly what you need when you go in and a map of the store to find it, so I'm not really that surprised. Yeah, even though it's a very small store, they kind of have a lot of things crammed in there. And the store has changed a lot, like over time. But the Big Thickness says, the one by my place is going out of business. They have a sub-mixing board for $20.
Go get it. I would imagine that a lot of them are just going to start.
You can tell by our wonderful sound quality that we already picked one up. That's a joke. All right, so.
That's a joke.
Cool, yeah, that's crazy, man.
See that mic?
Oh, you can actually see it. Oh, this is the other guy in.
My crotch.
Hey.
This is picking up the audio. We're going to put up the audio podcast, and he's going to get the video up.
In the beginning, there was the cube.
Alright. That is super hot. We turned that all the way out. Good thing you were doing a low voice.
You're welcome. I
Um,
wasn't gonna scream it.
Another thing, I guess it's not really something that applies to us yet. We just started, our videos are monetized and everything, and hopefully we'll get to a point where we'll be able to supplement our revenue
That would be wonderful.
soon. But you'll notice that we're almost exclusively only streaming from PS4 and PC. Well, we haven't done anything for PC yet. You'll probably see some of
but
that
we will.
Monday-ish.
We will definitely.
Yeah, it's in the plans. It's possible. It's happening. But nothing. We have a Wii U, and we're not streaming anything from it. One, we don't have a capture card, and two,
Yeah.
Nintendo has announced that they have a Creators Club program where they take part of the proceeds that you're making from ad revenue from anything that you put up that's using Nintendo trademarked materials. So it doesn't affect us so much, but I just wanted to explain sort of why it seems kind of what the content is at the moment.
Yeah.
Definitely in the future we will get a capture card. There's plenty of other consoles in our library that we would like to expand to.
Yeah, we definitely want to expand. We just don't have the resources at this moment. It's very early, and to be honest, we are living paycheck to paycheck, all three of us. We're just normal people. I mean, we're almost less normal than everybody else. Like we're just and there's just a lot of River said. Once we get a capture card, we can start doing other consoles. Nintendo is wonderful. I love Nintendo's games, and they're so good for this kind of content. But
we love Mario Kart. And
oh
we would
yeah,
love to
we
stream
play. I
some
mean,
of
most
that.
of the time before we started actually trying to make a business out of this, yeah, Emily would come over after work,
love Mario Kart.
and that's
A
what
lot,
we would
like
play.
almost every
Like we
weekend.
wouldn't come home
I come.
and play Minecraft very much or anything else for that matter. We would mostly play Nintendo. Of all
Smash
things.
Bros.
We started
Yeah,
playing
and I grew up
Minecraft
on
like the
it.
week
I grew up
before
on
we
that stuff.
started this channel.
Yeah, and I really want to actually highlight a lot of Nintendo stuff because I grew up on it. And it's very nostalgic for me, and it's very special. And so I just don't know about Nintendo just being like this dinosaur.
Now you want back up?
It's kind of disappointing because I do want to defend them in a lot of cases because they're almost like my uncle, because I just grew up with them. But and this is like this where people, I mean, Nintendo's just putting money on the table. They're just leaving it on the table because we could be totally I don't think they realize that so much of the video game industry now is thriving off of mixtapes, which is what YouTube is. You know what I mean? And if it weren't for people having Let's Plays, there's a lot of people who probably wouldn't even have known a certain game exists, or if they did, they wouldn't even bother trying. They wouldn't even bother trying to play it. You know what I mean? I mean, a lot of the time, I got really interested in Far Cry 3 because I didn't even touch the other two. I never even seen them. But I loved Far Cry 3 because I watched, Toby Turner play it or something like that, and I was like, oh, I gotta get this game, so I did. I actually got it for you for Christmas. I think
You played it?
And I played it. I played it all the way through before I think you even touched it. It was one of those you get the wife a bowling ball for Christmas because you're like, I like bowling.
I like bowling.
But if I got Emily a bowling ball for Christmas, I guess I would never
Is
go
that a
bowling.
joke he's told you before, I'm assuming?
What?
You were right on it.
I got it.
Real quick, let's get it. Nintendo, I love you. I do. But you gotta get with the times, man. I mean, Japan is very traditional like that, and that's super cool. I want them to keep that tradition. I want them to keep that honor. But it is okay to still be proud, but spread your wings. You know what I mean? Like let people do the advertising for you. It doesn't even cost you anything. You know what I mean? That's crazy.
The Nintendo executives all have to be in agreement to make westernized decisions. Yeah.
Yeah.
We were talking about this earlier.
Yeah.
Nintendo, the company you would think that needs this the least, taking money for this sort of thing because they have enough to go bankrupt 4 times over and still go over.
Totally. After the Wii, especially.
Yeah, but somebody recently left Nintendo of America and went and got interviewed, and the article said that they were very set in their ways. It's very traditional the way that they do things. All the executives back in I'm not sure what city in Japan the headquarters is, but anyway, all the executives, somebody can push an idea, but they all have to be in agreement, or it immediately just gets pushed off the table.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why they keep making the same games, which there's nothing wrong with.
Mhm.
But
I mean, it's selling, and you gotta vote with your wallet.
But you see other developers, they move on to other IPs.
Yeah, they totally do. And Nintendo comes out with one every now and then. They're actually working on a new one called I just had a brain fart.
Well, it is Xenoblade. That's.
Oh, Xenoblade. Yeah, I don't know if they're just publishing that or not, but
I think
that
they might be. You're right.
yeah, that franchise is super good, and I'm looking forward to the new one. We're gonna have a musical interlude by Leia, and the moment. Maybe not so musical. Anyway, let's pay a little attention to the chat right here, real quick. We got a newcomer here, Rose Liar. Oh gosh, I'm bad at this. Roselia Orthwell. It
That
has
was a beautiful attempt.
it has a liar in there, but I think that's a coincidence. Anyway. Okay. Well, anyway, I just joined. Thinks we're talking about YouTube in the '90s, which was YouTube around in the '90s.
Rosalia Rothwell.
Yeah, it's Rosalia Rothwell.
Rosalia
Rothwell. Hey, your name is beautiful. That's why I had trouble saying it, because it's just too beautiful for a creature of the night to actually pronounce it correctly. So anyway,
What was the question?
I'm guessing you all are talking about '90s YouTube stuff.
We were.
Yeah, kind of. We were. Basically, we're just at the moment we're discussing because our content right now is capturing a lot of playing video games. We're going to just keep you up to speed. We are going to expand our channel. That's why the name Asobi doesn't really indicate anything, because we don't want to just be locked to one thing. We do want to try all kinds of fields of
You
entertainment.
can play more than just games.
Yes, Asobi, if you don't know, is Japanese. It's a Japanese sort of a certain conjugation of the verb to play. It's not exactly to play, but you know, you can play more than games. It's exactly what you said.
I feel like that's something we should have covered in the introductory.
I don't think that
Like,
I don't need to. I don't need to
mean?
know what I don't. What's a good example? You know,
You'd have to actually speak Japanese.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I guess when someone
yeah.
brings up sock'em boppers, you
Yeah.
probably know what that means automatically. So, they're kind of. I think they might be talking to each other. Somebody mentions Goat Simulator. Which
We were talking about this earlier.
we were actually talking about Goat Simulator.
Another thing, a lot of I guess I haven't had any direct confrontation about this. I guess it was all internal confrontation about making a channel like this, is because the market is pretty oversaturated.
Totally. Yeah.
There's a lot of people doing what we're doing, but it feels more right to just do it than to sit around and wish that I was doing what those people were doing.
Mm-hmm.
What is that face for? Oh, you're making
I'm looking at the
oh.
baby.
My God.
Just because one person is a doctor doesn't mean you can't go out and be a doctor too. There are people on YouTube doing Let's Plays. Then obviously there's a market for it, and we're not. We're not thinking like so super grandiose.
Yeah,
but
definitely not.
It's everything. We get our names out there. We're marketing, and it's more than just playing games, which will come.
There will be a video. I think it's while we were playing The Last of Us. That'll come up probably within the next week, where somebody in the chat room actually mentions what differentiates you guys from literally the 50,000 other Let's Players. And I don't exactly remember what I said, but what I would have liked to get across was, we're not. The only difference is that we're doing it. That's the only difference to us, is that we're doing it. What we can do to differentiate ourselves will have nothing to do with actually differentiating ourselves. It will be strictly because it's something that we want to do.
We got up out of the audience and stepped on stage.
Exactly. That it may not be different for everyone who's already on stage, but it's different for us because we're no longer in the crowd, or at least just in the crowd. You know what I mean? And so that's the difference. What we can bring to the table for you, honestly, is up to the viewer. I mean, we could be absolutely no different from anybody else, but the difference is whether you or not you enjoy it. The difference for us is that we enjoy doing it, and we're actually taking the initiative. It may go nowhere, but I mean, we've been having a lot of fun, and I think that's what really matters. Yeah. Emily, anything?
I completely agree.
Just after every paragraph, she'd be like, Emily,
Say
like I
something.
said, I'm just a pretty face.
I'm just a pretty face. I'm sorry.
I just.
Yeah, just like.
No, I'm having a lot of fun. So.
Yeah.
Chat, and then you should.
Something
get
I've
to your
always wanted
topic,
to do.
Totally. Yeah, we don't want to go too long, so the big thickness, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh gosh.
Hey River, says the Wolverine, or the Wolverine.
Wolverine. Oh yeah. Hey, how's it going, buddy?
Cool. Hey, Logan. No, was it, what's to do? Stream somewhat. I think they're all kind of just talking with each other. The difference is that you guys have an infant.
Don't talk to each other.
The difference is
Oh, yeah.
definitely that we have an infant.
We do have an
Because I'm
infant.
telling you right now, if you start catching up on our videos, Leia, Princess
Scream
Leia,
in each one.
she is pretty much in every video. The thing is she sleeps. She does do it sometimes, but it is never while we're recording. She always happens to wake up the moment the three of us get together. Leia's even prominent in the thumbnail art.
I did draw her in the thumbnail.
Yeah, that was a surprise. We didn't expect that, and when she
I thought that was so.
yeah, when she sent it to us last night,
awesome.
I was
Yeah, we give you a high five.
yeah, like Ninja Turtles. Cowabunga!
What?
Wait, Cowabunga.
Oh.
Sorry, Ninja Turtles are weird. How do they even do that? Anyway,
It's a weird hands.
we do have an infant. I'm not sure. Well, it definitely differentiates us. Let's put it that way.
Mascot. We
I
have a
think
mascot.
it'd be,
We have
I
a
think it'd be
mascot.
cool if here in like a couple months she starts talking and maybe taking a more.
Yeah. Look, the fact is I can actually tell that Leia is very interested in the things that the people around her are doing. All she wants to touch, she doesn't touch. She just had a birthday, and she got tons of gifts, and I don't see her touch any of them. All she wants to touch is our phones. She wants to touch the keyboard. You can see she's trying to touch the keyboard. She's trying to touch the mic. She's trying to touch the camera. That's all she wants to do. So I can tell as soon as. Yeah, hi. You see yourself? Oh, I didn't even think about that. She's probably freaking out right now. Anyway, she will definitely. I mean,
Really?
she will definitely be a part of the show if she isn't already. So, cool. Just a quick plug also. If you are interested in downloading podcasts, this cast will be featured on iTunes. Any other services? iTunes.
Podcast Garden, but
Garden.
that's I just picked that for free hosting and access to
Okay.
iTunes. I would just use iTunes. It's the easiest.
iTunes is, I feel like most people would feel that iTunes, the podcast app that the iPhone comes with, is pretty. In my opinion, is pretty good.
If you're weird and you just want to use the RSS, let me know.
I'm kind of
I
the
don't
RSS.
use iTunes, actually.
Yeah.
I don't.
Oh, you don't?
I don't use iTunes.
I mean, you don't have to have an iPhone.
I know, but I don't use it. It's super
What do
confusing
you
to me.
use?
Yeah.
Do you ever download podcasts?
No.
Do our podcasts on Google Play? We don't know our market.
I don't.
There's
I'm Android, so
Google
I
Play is
use
on Android.
Well, I guess I should.
We will look into it. We will look into it. That is a whole half market that we can.
I will find a way to get it to you.
This is a
and
podcast. I did want to film it because I want stuff to be. I want you all to see us, and I do want it on the YouTube channel as well. But I also want. I love podcasts. I listen to them all the time, and so it's kind of surreal to actually be listening to our podcast when it comes up in my feed. So anyway, this will be on iTunes also as soon as possible. So let's see what else we got.
I understand. You want it down? No, you don't want down.
The big thickness. We're talking about.
Don't start.
What is this? When she becomes of age. Now, before I go
What age
on.
are we speaking
Before
here?
I go on,
I'm
what do you
the
mean
dad.
the age to play video games?
Okay.
River's already trying to pawn her off on me. All right, so Oga of age. That's so creepy. Okay, he cleared himself up afterward, but let's see. When she becomes of age, you should attempt to do a baby let's play with an age-appropriate game
hell
request.
yeah.
That is a great
That
idea.
is
We probably would have thought about it eventually, but I don't think any of us thought about it until now. I can imagine her playing something like oh man, can you imagine like those old? There used to be old games like on the PC. I mean like Sesame Street games and just.
We're not doing
One of those like letter learning.
Oh yeah, we
games.
are, man. What like Dora the Explorer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We actually joked about maybe doing a segment where we, like a video segment where we read children's books or something.
Yes.
Like that.
Yes, these are the kind of things we're thinking about for live action.
We were just
There are
reading
just
her book
ideas
earlier tonight.
everywhere.
We were reading your book earlier, and I read it as if I were summoning the demons. Congratulations, me. I used to actually do story time in Barnes & Noble when I worked there. If anybody ever sees this that worked with me there, it's me, Mr. Joe. Okay. I used to have a mohawk back then. I don't anymore.
I can't even imagine you.
I had a mohawk. It was a long, long time ago.
What was your topic, Joe?
Really?
Yeah, they're talking about stuff. Okay, so.